Right, in this tutorial we'll talk about an object that is called group policy. Group policy is a feature of Windows Server operating systems that control the working environment of user accounts and computer accounts. Group policy provides the centralized management and configuration of operating systems, applications, and user settings in an Active Directory environment. In essence, it controls what the users can or cannot do. Right, so I'll show you now how to set up the GPO or group policy object. Another word on GPO is that it places users and PCs into a group, allowing them to be easily and differently managed. This group is called an organizational unit. As well as said before, telling these PCs and users what they can and cannot do, ensuring that the environment is secured. Users are only granted the functions that they need, while everything else is more or less locked down to prevent negative things from happening. You don't want anybody literally dancing around inside the system in a work environment. If it is you need to be working, then we'll only give you the tools needed to do that work and complete that job. Don't want you browsing the internet or listening to music and probably changing up the desktop background, etc. So let me show you how to set up a group policy. What we'll need to have are multiple users set up on the server itself. Just like in our working environment, you'll have multiple users accessing different PCs. So I'll set up a couple users and show you what's going to happen. We'll go to Start, Administrative Tools, Active Directory, Users and Computers. Alright. What we need to do here will be to create two folders or any amount of folders that will group our users within them. As I said before, these groups will be called an organizational unit. So what we'll do, we'll click on right click onto your domain name, go to new, and add an organizational unit. What we do from here, we give it a name, tutorials, and if it is we need to change the users within this group later on by deleting the group itself, we will need to uncheck this box. If not, and you are sure that it's a group you're going to keep to be used as long as you run Windows Server, you keep this box checked. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we will uncheck it. It's okay. And you'll see that our tutorials folder has been created. I have two other folders here with users in them already. And I'll show you how to create users for them. What you're going to do, you're going to select your tutorials folder, right click, go to new, and add a user. It's the same process before when we were setting up the roaming profile. So we will just add a name. Let's call this Tut, and our last name 1, and we will give it the login Tut1, and it will be at your domain name.com. So you click next. Same setup as before. We will deselect, change password and next logon, or if you can leave it on. First we will detach. For this we will uncheck it, and just like before when we were setting up roaming profile, we will select the two middle options. User cannot change password and password never expires. For the password, I will use my normal password. That will be capital P @ common ssw0rd. I just punched in again. That's done. You click next, and this will give you the final settings, give you a preview of your finalizations. Hit finish, and you will have our user here. Alright, so let's create one more object, organizational unit. Right click, go to new, organizational unit. Let's give the name, call it TUT2. Let's call it tutorials 2. I will uncheck, and it's okay. We've created it now. We're going to right click in the space, and let's create a new user. The name TUT2, and the user login name would be TUT2, no space, and of course it will be of your domain name.com. However, you should take note of the two login names, as we will be using them to log in onto our clients' virtual machines. So just next, deselect the two options, deselect the first option, select the second two, put your password, hit next, finish. So in tutorials, we have our TUT1 user, and in tutorials 2 we have our TUT2 user. So now let's create a group policy for them and define what they can and cannot do. Just minimize this, minimize that. You go to start, administrative tools again, this time to group policy management. Let's maximize this. We will select our forest, hit the plus sign, we'll go to domains, and we'll see our domain here, plus sign again, and this will give us the listing of the organizational units we created. I have my two created earlier with some policies already set, and the two we just created, tutorials and tutorials 2. So let's set up a group policy for them. I'm going to come to test 1. I will right click to create a GPU in this domain. I'll name it GPU test run 1. Click OK. Next I'll select it, get a dialog box, just hit OK. Double click, right click, edit, and here you will see we have two types of configuration, as we mentioned before: computer configuration and user configuration. So I'll just go down to preferences. I'll just go to pause it under user configuration. I'll go to policies, administrative templates, come over on this side. I can select, let's see, say start menu. Let's just maximize this, and we will set policies. Let me set a policy here. What can I use? Let me see a significant change we'll need. Here we can force the classic menu. You just double click, hit enabled, hit apply, and OK. And let's do one more. This should be a significant change as well. removing the clock from the notification area. So I'll just double click on that again, enable, apply, OK. And it's the most steps are like that. All you have to do is just go, double click, enable, OK. Some things may require further setup, like adding a link, for instance, changing or setting the desktop background and forcing it so that the user on the client machine will be unable to change it. So you need to set up a link there to the picture and all that. See if I can change. I'll leave that as that. Right. So now I'll bring up my Vista client. Remember, we set this up for. This was set up for test 1. Sorry. And in our directory we have 3 users here already set up. So I will log in as root user under my Vista client. I'll log in. Now the first thing you're gonna notice is that we disabled or removed the clock from the notifications area. There's an option there to hide the notification area entirely, but that would not have shown. It wouldn't have shown the clock at all, and the change that we made. So the second change we made was to force the classic menu, which is this what you see here. So in all, GPUs is or are a powerful tool in the server environment, server client environment, whereas you can set up things so that users don't do anything they're not supposed to do or shouldn't do while on that client PC. You can set up many other groups. For instance, you can set up administrative groups with the majority of the rights or all rights, down to the base client where they only have a few rights or a few permissions, a few options available to them. That was my tutorial for GPU. Thank you for watching.